Welcome back to Open Line. Talking about the Latino vote in the upcoming presidential election. Have people on both sides. We have a bunch of calls. I'm going to try and get to as many calls as possible. Let's go to Jimmy, who is the next in line. Jimmy, hello.
Hey, what does Julio think about the Cuban Americans in Florida that are very conservative? And a lot of my friends, my Mexican friends in Wisconsin and Texas, they seem to be very conservative. What does he think about that?
That there are conservative? Okay, what do you think about that? And he's asking you, Julio.
About Cuban conservatives in Florida. Look, I don't speak for Cubans or all Mexicans. What I will say is that when you talk about immigration, there's a large propensity for Cuban Americans to see that as a last issue because of protected status. When you see that across Mexican American, Hondurans, Guatemalans, Central Americans, South Americans, we don't have that same protection. And so immigration for us is not just an important policy thing to debate about, it's a matter of life and death.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to go to another call. We'll go to you if they call you, Raul. Let's go to Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl.
Hi, I'm here.
Great. What's on your mind?
Yes, I wanted to direct my comments to, I don't know his name, he's on the bottom, but when you say that you prayed with the president, that's very good that you did that, but there is a contradiction with our president in terms of, I prayed with the president. When he first started his campaign for presidency, I watched the Republican convention. There were people of color that came into that convention, and people were hitting them, pushing them. I don't know if you all remember this. Sitting on them. And you know what Trump said? Get them out of here. That would have never happened in the old days. And that comment, make America great again, and the way he came out with that disposition, there is a contradiction. All of us need prayer, but that is no way to gauge a person's heart or disprove anything about racism.
Okay,
he is a racist.
Okay. All right. Respond to that. She's talking to you, Raul.
Well, I've been spit at conventions by liberal supporters. I've been cussed at. I get texts all the time from Hispanic liberals that say I'm not Hispanic. I'm a coconut, brown on the outside, white on the inside. And I've gotten death threats. So to say that, I mean, that's not true. Number one, that it was done in a convention. Number two, make America great again is not a racist term. We want to make America great again, and we do it together. And again, if the man was a racist, the unemployment rate, he wouldn't work so hard to bring the unemployment rate down for Hispanics. He wouldn't give them the option of choosing which schools to choose from. He wouldn't promote religious freedom so pastors could speak on like anybody else and have the freedom to speak their minds. He's always been a supporter of the Hispanic community. He was, so I don't know where she's coming from on some of that stuff, but I mean, I have personally, and I still continue to get criticism and all kinds of unfortunate information out there that's not true from others.
All right, I'm going to go to another call. Let's go to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. Go right ahead.
Hello. I was sitting last year watching Donald Trump's 4th of July speech in 2019, where he said that the Patriots took over the British airports during the Revolutionary War. Now, I'm an amateur historian, so that kind of bugs me. And you can Google this and see if it's true or not. But it's on the internet, and I saw the speech.
Well, yeah, he did. I think he misspoke. I mean, if there are concerns about the president, they're probably much bigger than that. But yeah, he misspoke. That happens on both sides. I'm just going to move on. Because we have so many calls. I'm going to go to Sheila. Hello, Sheila.
Yes, sir?
Go right ahead.
Yes, sir.
What's on your mind?
Okay, what I'm wanting to say is the Democrats were in office for 8 years, everybody, okay? And I think they were before that. And them, when they let refugees in, they always let them in, okay? They had mats and stuff. They tried to push all that blame on Trump, too. There wasn't no beds, no showers, no nothing. Well, who had been in president all them years? It was the Democrats. So the president put in baths, showers, all that. Anybody that goes to jail that are Americans that break the law, they can't take their kids with them either.
Are you talking about the detention centers?
They're hard workers. They're hard workers. I got good friends that are. But you know what? They're respectable. They work, and they made themselves legal. And, you know, they are for Trump. And look, Trump wants everybody legal. That's one of the biggest lies the devil could have ever told on Trump was he was prejudice. He's married 2 or 3 foreign women, okay? He is a nerd for his country. He's got red, white, and blue, you know what?
Okay, that's great. All right, let's, I'll let you talk about that, Julio. You heard what she said, most of that. Go ahead.
I'm not going to talk about the First Lady being the reason that the president is not racist. I think his history speaks to that. I think that's been well documented, including calling for the death penalty on 5 innocent African Americans in New York City. But beyond that, I want to talk about those detention centers because it's true that the President Obama deported more illegal immigrants than anyone in the history of this country. That's true. And it's true that those detention centers existed before Obama, but became policy during Obama. That's also true. What we have to look forward to here is that the current President Trump, made that a zero tolerance policy and his only immigration plan for the past 4 years. We saw him build those cages to a larger extent. We now see, and it's been widely reported, and people know this, that 549 undocumented children, all under the age of 15, who have been separated from their families for over a year, who will never, ever have their lives back because they have no idea who their parents' names were and they will never be able to find them. Those children are lost. 549 are gone. Those lives have been taken by this administration. What we have to look forward to and ask ourselves on November 3rd, on November 3rd is, do we look backwards and say who was to blame for these detention centers, or do we look forward and say who's going to stop them? When the president and the vice president, Michael Pence, have had no inclination of stopping them and have actually defended this practice, saying it'll continue to be their immigration policy, while Joe Biden here in Nashville last week on Thursday said that on day 1, these immigration centers would end. And we ask ourselves, in our students and in our leaders, do we want them to grow and learn from their mistakes, or do we want them to continue to do the wrong thing because they didn't do it first? And I want a president who's going to change and who's going to stop these detention centers because he knows that's the right thing to do.
What do you think about the detention centers, Julio, and of course what happened with the children, the 500 and something missing children that can't find their parents? Go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, if their parents obeyed the law, that they wouldn't have been separated. And, you know, if they would have come here the legal way. Again, we're trying to excuse illegal action, which shouldn't be. I mean, if we don't want laws, if we want anarchy, then it'll change our whole country. And more Democrats support lawlessness. That's why we have riots in the streets. And it's always in liberal, either mayors or governors that allow this to happen. The Hispanics that I have spoken to believe in law and order. And that's what we need to have. You know, everything in life, you have to count the cost. So if I'm a parent, you know, if I come here illegally, guess what? There's consequences to that. Whether it be separation, whether it be deportation, but you have to count the cost before you come. And we cannot just allow anyone here, especially with COVID, especially with terrorism, it's just not fair for America to open our borders illegally. There's a legal way of happening, and there's millions that do it the legal way.
Ben, I got to get in here.
Really quickly, then we'll take a break. Go ahead.
Because the legal way to get here is not an easy way. It's not something anyone can do.
It doesn't matter. It's a legal way.
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
And change the law.
Listen to yourself, Raul. You're defending the practice of separating children from their families for a life.
I'm protecting legal action.
We should allow
the parents never come.
Voters have to make and ask themselves this.
That's right.
Does illegal action mean that I can separate someone's family and destroy someone's life when they were 6 years old and came here on no accord of their own? That's the question we have to ask.
The question we have to ask, are you going to follow the law and come here legally? Or are you going to come here illegally and demand different rights that most of us follow, which is to follow the law?
All right, so we'll take a break. We'll come back take more calls. We have several. We'll take more calls right after this.